This week's episode is brought to you by Tabletop Backer Party on Facebook, which is the largest board game crowdfunding group on this side of the internet. Hello, fellow gamers. Welcome to I'd Back That Kickstarter with Gloryhoundd and...
Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy, No, I'm just playing around. It's DrGloryhogg. Sorry, I got a little excited.
Yeah, you did. I actually just got off stream with Board Game Spotlight. I'm so excited. I guess
You did? I didn't even know you were on that.
That is so weird. That is so weird.
I was busy working, bringing home income for the family. No big deal.
If you guys
wasn't jealous.
If you guys don't know, we're going to be doing playthroughs on Board Game Spotlight as well as our own channel. So we're super excited to be incorporating that into our streaming schedule. So
Which just means more games, like newer games.
Yes, because Board Game Spotlight covers usually Kickstarter games. So they get lots of Kickstarter game content in, and that means...
Everyone's asking, like, why I look so fresh. This is how I always look. Wow, people.
Shower day.
At least once a month, I try to clean up. It's a new month, so I'm cleaned up for May. Yes, she did cut my hair. She did an amazing job. She watched the video for she watched the video no sound for 15 minutes on YouTube and then cut my hair right after.
I did.
But you gotta stay fresh, even though you're in quarantine. Otherwise, she forgets what you look like normally. So, right? I don't want her to forget what I normally look like.
You gotta spruce it up a little bit. And
but I'm still wearing basketball shorts though. So it's only here up. Here up. No shoes.
If you're streaming, that's all you have to do. You just have to do here up.
Sometimes I'm in my boxers. I'm just like hanging out. And I just hope that the doorbell doesn't ring and I have to jump up real quick.
You jump up and then you're like, oh, and we're all in pajamas. Okay.
Yeah, it's awkward. Got my footy pajamas on.
Alan says, I'm close to letting Jenny do me as
Please,
far as
Alan,
cutting
this
the
is
hair.
a family show. We don't need to discuss that. Yes, you should let her cut your hair though.
It wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I have no idea what the back looks like. But I'm one of those people that the hair, whenever I get my hair done, they kind of hate me because they're like, how do you want the back of your hair done? Do you want it like rounded or square? And I'm like, you know what? I can't see it. You could put your initials back there. I would never know. So just do whatever you want. Whatever you're best at. So if you want it rounded, do it. If you want it squared, do it.
That wasn't an option. I could have put a big Gloryhoundd back there.
Because you would have done it. You would have put a big old GH back there, which would have worked for Gloryhougd too. So who knows what's on the back? There could be like a giant unicorn back there and I wouldn't know.
So we're going to be partnering with Board Game Spotlight to bring you guys more Kickstarter game playthroughs, which is super exciting. And we're still going to be doing our Kickstarter show. We're still going to be doing our own playthroughs. We're thinking about maybe doing some interviews for you guys.
Games.
Bezier Games contacted us and was like, hey, you want to hear about our new lineup for 2020? And I was like, yes, I do. So I'm excited. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments and I will pursue more of that. We'll get in contact with publishers and start talking to them and give you guys some information on new games coming out in 2020 since, there's no conventions.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
If there's no conventions, how are you going to know about all the new games?
Besides stuff that's on Kickstarter, of course.
Yeah.
You know about Kickstarter because of us.
Right. But we could bring people more new games.
Occasionally, new games are actually not available on Kickstarter, which it's a thing, I guess, that they just started doing where they just produce them. It's weird. Seems like a risky business plan to me because, you could just make $12 billion if you want to do Frosthaven.
Million.
I said million.
Oh, I thought you said billion. Not 12 billion, million. We're getting close to 13. We're getting close to 13, I think.
You know what? If I had $12 million, I would be just fine. You can call it whatever you want.
Alan says UKGE is canceled now. Absolutely. And they moved Origins, I think, to October. And,
a lot of stuff's getting shuffled around. Even our local conventions, a lot of them have canceled just out of necessity. And it happens, but we're still here. You're still here, and that's what's important.
And we should talk about some
Kickstarter's back, baby. We're pumped. I'm backing at least 2 things this week.
2 things? Yeah. Really? Oh, my God.
Ooh, I don't even know what order these are going to be in. These are always in a different order than I expect. So we're starting off with Final Girl?
That's right. We're starting off with Final Girl.
Shouldn't that have been last because it's the Final Girl?
No, we do our finals first, okay?
We know Greg's not here.
Yes.
But he's still playing games with his wife and his kids, so he's still getting his gaming in at least.
He's here in heart. We completely plan on bringing Greg back to the show whenever the quarantine is over, guys, okay?
Please don't talk over my intro. That was me right there.
Are you good?
Not choking that girl.
Oh, okay.
I respect women. That was a consensual choking.
This is Final Girl by Ryder Games. This is a solo game that is going to last about 30 to 45 minutes.
Yikes.
I really like the fact that this game,
Really working
and
out.
by game I mean games, as you can see here, come with different boxes that contain different heroes, different scenarios, different bad guys. You can mix them all up, put them together, and you can play, like, basically, it's almost like it reminds me of like an Unmatched, except like a solo Unmatched, because with Unmatched, you can
Like mix and match.
things. You know, if you want to play Robin
I think
Hood
they
from
call
here,
that modular.
modular, maybe.
Modular.
I don't know, but I'm excited about this. So, Dr. Gloryhogg, do you want to go ahead and start us off?
Like my thoughts on this?
Yeah, what are your
so,
thoughts?
you guys know that generally I don't play a whole bunch of like solo games, right? But then we recently played Crusoe Crow, which is also by Van Ryder Games, which is like a narrative one. And so that was why this immediately made my list. Because I was looking at it and I was like, all right, so it's some horror. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I like horror like a little bit, but not like a ton. It's not like my go-to movie genre, but I'll watch it. I just watched Underwater. Or was it? Yeah, was it Underwater? The one with Kristen Stewart in it, the new one that was like aliens underwater?
Yeah.
I think it's Underwater. I just watched that recently. When I woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning, I decided to watch that.
Like you do.
But it's not my go-to thing, right? Like horror is not usually my go-to thing. But I like the idea of playing a horror game solo, right? Because it just builds up that intensity where you're like the last survivor trying to get through, save whatever friends you can, and then get out. So anything that lets me like act out like the movie Scream or something, I am all for.
Hold on.
Because it looks amazing.
Are you saying you just want to be the Scream girl?
I want to be Neve Campbell, yes.
Yeah, you want to be
That's
Neve
who I
Campbell.
want to be.
Okay, I can picture you as a nice Neve Campbell.
I think
yeah,
I'd do it pretty good.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
it
scary
looks
movies.
like we have Van Ryder Games in chat as
sweet.
well. Thank you so much for joining us. So if you guys have any questions about these games, leave them in the comments so Van Ryder Games can go ahead and attend to you guys on
I've been
those,
really
you know?
impressed with the narrative stories, and I haven't played Hostage Negotiator, but I watched like Quackalope's gameplay of this and some of the other people that have reviewed this game already, and it just looks really good, and I'm excited to back this because I really want to stream it. And my thought is that we could stream it where like she plays through the scenario, or I do, and then vice versa, and then swap it like on a different day, so you can see different people's takes like trying to get through it.
Who did a better job of fighting him off?
I would imagine with the both of us, based off of how hard these games typically are, only one of us will probably make it if we're lucky.
I knew that this game would be right up your alley with the thematicness of it, but I wasn't sure if the solo factor was going to be like an implication for you. If you were like, because it's solo, but I'm happy to hear you say it gives you actually like a better feel for being in that situation.
Yeah, because
you're like, you're alone. It's a horror game. You're supposed to be scared. Hello, Kabuki. Hello, John.
Because I honestly think, I've been in some stressful situations in my life. It's only really scary when you're by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, whenever I had my fire team with me, there's like 3 other people with me. You can only get so scared, right? You're usually more in the protector mode where I'm trying to protect them. They're trying to protect me and all that. But once you're alone in the dark, which has happened to me, ask me about that story later, when you're alone in the dark and you're lost and you can't find anybody or see anybody and you're in a war type situation, it is freaky. So getting to play that in a board game where I'm not going to be dead at the end of it, well, maybe dead in game, seemed like a win for me, like just to kind of get to go through and kind of play out this horror story. Because how many times have you sat and watched a movie like Scream or Deep Blue or something like that and just scream like, what are you doing? Don't go down that hallway. I feel like finally now I can be like, I'm going down the hallway and I don't care.
I'm not going down that hallway.
No,
what am I doing?
You think I'd play it smarter, but I'm not. I want to see this pig mask guy, which that's a win for me too. I also want to get the miniatures for this because I really want to have somebody nice like paint up that pig miniature.
Okay.
And I'm just going to start using that in random games.
You just want the pig miniature.
Yeah, we'll play Monopoly and I'll be like, all right, so the butcher moves forward to free parking.
So Ellen says, have you not heard of Jumanji?
Yeah, now, I'm not trying to be in Jumanji, though.
As far as like the scaredness factor of solo versus non-solo games, I totally have to agree with you because like that cat flying out and being like, Rear! Like if you have multiple people there, you're like, get out of here, cat. But yeah, in a scary movie, totally scary that cat.
It's all about being alone.
Yeah, right.
So alone.
So then would you play this game like partially in the dark with all the candles lit and stuff? And you're like, you could have like the candlelight. Yeah. Make
Dr.
it extra
Horrorhogg.
spooky. Okay. For me, the big thing for me, because I guess I'm not like a huge fan of horror movies.
No, you're way less than I am. You really never watch them. Like I kind of end up watching them on my own, which makes them creepier.
And I've only really started getting into solo style games this year, you know?
Well, in the last like 6-7 months, because we
Right.
started backing more of them after we've got to play some.
Right. And for me, my big thing on this is the mixing and matching. So you don't have
Yeah.
that one scenario that you play over and over and you're like, all right, I got this, or you have that simple solve. You have
Yeah.
multiple different ones.
Different map and then different bad guy, and then you can mix them.
Right, exactly. And then the other thing for me is going through the books that Van Ryder makes,
Yeah.
the choose your own adventure books. I was so happy with the narrative of those stories and the inventiveness that they made in those books that I was like, well, they're incorporating like the same sort of stuff in. You're still going to get the same sort of stories and everything.
The theme
and then,
is on.
Right, exactly. The theme is on point, guys. I'm so excited. So excited about these. And I hope that this does, well, it's doing well, but I hope it does really well and we can just get those like updates every month. Like an exit game or something. You're like, all right, now we have this new scenario with the bad guys, you know? That would be so much fun to do.
I'm getting more and more into these. Like, this one isn't disposable, like that kind of disposable, like Chronicles of Crime. Like, you play it once, you kind of move on. This one at least has a little bit more replay because you can mix it. And
right.
I have a feeling, based off of some other stuff that I've played, that you're not going to win that first time.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a real good chance you're going to want to play it again. And then you're going to want to play it as a different survivor, or you're going to want to play it in a different area. Because if you can bring, like, you know, I mean, there's so many different things. You can bring the poltergeist out to the haunted woods. It's just a whole different scenario.
We have Battlecry saying Dr. Horrorhogg. That's Dr. Horrorhogg right there, guys. There's the Dr. Horrorhogg.
I love it. Hey, I love that miniature. I'm $20 for that miniature alone. I would do it.
And Kabuki Kid says, I love the hostage negotiator. I have everything there is except for that one promo card that is elusive.
And I've heard really good things about hostage negotiator too. So to get to play this, like, lets me feel like, okay, now I'll know if I want that game too.
I'm happy that this is doing so well. I'm super excited about it.
But which ones are you actually the most excited about? Because of course I got to have the Horrorhogg, is what I'm calling it now, the Butcher.
All right.
That's guaranteed.
Let's talk about all the pricing for this. So the base price for this game is $35. And I'm going to scroll up here. Actually, I'm going to scroll up in this thing.
I like that there's the modular pricing with these.
Absolutely. So you can spend $35. And if you don't know if this is your jam, like, you can just get a core box and choose a feature film box. And then you have double feature, which is going to give you 2. And then you have where you can get everything, and then you also have where you can get the miniatures as well down here, guys. I really like the options that they've added to this, so if I want to try it out and just get the one box, it's at a really good price. It's $35 to get started in this.
Oh, yeah, and I just wanted to say one thing that I remember about this campaign when I went through. I really liked the way they did the 3D banners. Like, when you look at the banners on this, whenever it talks about the new section, they're like 3D, like they pop out, like that. Feature films. Maybe it's more so on my phone because it's an iPhone, but it looked like that was like that feature films part like pops out, doesn't it? Am I crazy or?
You want to give kudos to the person
that was
who designed
really
them,
good. I thought that was because as I was scrolling on my phone looking at, because I was looking at this again last night. I was scrolling on my phone looking at it. I was like, man, those like really popped out. Like they were like these 3D like bloody signs and stuff. I don't know. I thought it was good.
Says the price is very reasonable. I thought so. And being able to then go back and mix and match once you do find it's something you like, or say it's not your jam and you end up gifting it to somebody, then they have the ability to go through and purchase whatever they want from
the add-ons and stuff.
Right, and then be able to mix and match things the way they do. Or maybe there's a maybe you don't like pigs. Maybe you don't like pigs.
Whoa, that's not true.
Okay?
Pigs are great.
You don't like hogs, and you don't want to see this horrible Dr. Hogg here, and you just don't want that coffee, okay? You're totally available.
It's me, your boy, Dr. Gloryhogg.
And if we're getting down to it, I have to say, I think it's awesome that we're taking a scary movie scenario where you always usually have that female that is in need of help, and that they are going the opposite route of, instead of like saving the female, having the females fight back.
Well, I will say, and I know you don't watch as many horror films, that actually is pretty common. So like
more common?
Yeah, that's why they call it the final girl, because Aliens, it's like Ripley, in Underwater is Kristen Stewart.
Like
it's always...
It could have gone a different way.
47 meters down, it's always like, there's usually like one last woman left. Because it's cooler to kill off all the guys now and leave like the woman left, right?
Yeah,
that's what happens though.
Oh, okay, so Van Ryder Games, for those interested, we announced a huge update recently that ups the value even more. Oh my gosh.
I feel like the theme on this is great. Poltergeist was a movie that scared the poops out of me when I was a little child.
Yeah, when I was a kid, Poltergeist was like...
Sticking your hand in a garbage disposal? I'm still scared doing that.
No. I mean, no, but yes. No, but yes, okay?
So I know the one I was most excited about, of course, was the one with the Butcher in it, because the Butcher looks sweet. And then this one, Carnage at the Carnival, because... to be fair, carnies are creepy. Sometimes, not all carnies. Their hands smell like cabbage. That's an old reference from a movie. But yeah, I thought that one was the cool, like Geppetto the Puppet Master, because even the Puppet Master out in the woods would be super sweet.
So
You could see that working out.
to Games of Fire. Thanks for joining us. So let's see here.
And then that one's good too, where they go out into Africa.
I like that one. I like that one.
That's another one that I was really super pumped about. I mean, I wouldn't be sad about getting all of them, of course, but I was thinking like if I was going to get at least 2, I feel like I have to get at least 2.
I'm loving the art in this. Like it's that little bit of stylized, realistic look.
Yeah.
Like I'm really digging the art, man. Van Ryder Games, you guys did such a good job. I don't really have a bunch of nitpicks or anything to say about this. Your campaign looks amazing.
Oh, look, it's my miniature.
I love that you guys did miniatures for those people who do want them. I personally, I don't want the miniatures, but it sounds like Dr. Gloryhougg might.
Just because of that butcher. I need that butcher miniature so bad.
But
I'm going to get that painted.
having it along the lines of sort of like that Unmatched series where you can mix and match, that was the strong point for me. And then so since Van Ryder Games is here, do you feel like it's a good introduction to having people get introduced to solo gaming? Does that make sense, Dr. Gloryhogg?
Yeah, I mean, watching the playthrough videos, it looked, and then like this right here, it looks like everything's pretty streamlined, right?
Yeah, very
like you're
streamlined.
spending time to look for stuff, trying to find other people that you can rescue and help. You may be able to, you may not. I'm just really, because everyone knows the theme is always really big for me. The theme on this is just killer. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Really good game.
Yeah.
So
I was laughing at my own, like, the theme is killer. I had to stop. I had to think about that. That was accidental, and then I felt bad about it.
You should have amped that one up, Dr. Gloryhogg.
I don't like doing puns on accident, and I accidentally did, and then I felt bad about it, and then I just wanted to leave for a little bit. But
you had to go back and be like, oh, I could have really made that one good.
my brain was like, why did you say that right then?
Oh my goodness. So,
it's killer, be killed.
ooh, Kabuki says, I assume an app version is likely in the future. That's
Van Ryder,
interesting.
since you're here, and you stole my last name, I'm going to say that an underwater one would be amazing.
Ooh.
Because you could do underwater, you could do space.
Oh, yeah.
And you can mix all that in. Because, like, Jason went to space, so why not? Like, bring the butcher to space. I say do it.
Absolutely.
But underwater is always super creepy. So something hunting you in the dark underwater.
If you could add in like that breath management thing where you have to like come to the surface for things, that's always super great. Like
that was like the best part about 47 meters
extra
down.
added benefit, right?
Was being in like the dark part of the ocean, swimming around and being lost, like not being able to like determine where they were at, but knowing that there were sharks above them somewhere. That was like, whoo.
Okay, so this is a really great comment from Van Ryder Games. I think it's accessible for new gamers. Maybe a second step though, but horror lovers should jump in. Okay, that's fantastic. So if you're familiar with board games or a hobby board games, you're going to just fall right into this and it's going to be super smooth for you guys. So
good, that's what I want.
All right, and
ooh, I want that expanded lore book because their lore is killer.
Alan is asking, is this Dr. Gloryhogg's fave of the week?
It's not. It's my second favorite.
It's your second favorite.
Yeah, it's my second favorite, but
okay.
I am really excited about it though. This is one that I would 100% just back on my own, even if like, you know, the wife was not down with it. I'd be like,
Kabuki said, on accident, oh man, take away his medical license.
listen,
You can't do anything on accident. You're the doctor.
well, as a doctor, it's never an accident. There was complications. It was a complication, Kabuki case. It was a complication. It was out of my hands.
With my words. All right.
Hey, Ronnie, spoilers, okay, Ronnie?
Oh, Ronnie is hot right now. Like, they're guessing all sorts of cool stuff. Johnson says, I want it, but the horror theme makes me
I think that if the horror is not your thing, which I can understand because it's not my number one thing, you could definitely check out something like Hostage Negotiator, though, which is the system it's built off of, and that's kind of more like cops.
Absolutely.
Caps.
All right, Dr. Gloryhogg.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm definitely at least double feature, but I could see going up into one of the other ones. I only say double feature because I really want those miniatures. I really want that stupid butcher miniature so bad, and I hate myself for it because I have all these miniatures I don't paint, but that's one that I feel like I would get, and then I would convince somebody else to paint for me.
Okay. And I'm totally down with the whole dueling aspect of this where we could both play it and see who does better. I think that'd be really fun.
Like who lives the longest. Or
right?
We could do like a point system for like, how if you live, you'll get points. If you make it out with other survivors, you get points. And then like how long you live or how many items you find can give you different points.
Oh, Nathan says, I really like that the game has minis only for the players and the big bad guy.
Yeah.
Excessive miniatures just raises the price.
Exactly.
We agree.
And
Absolutely.
they're optional. You don't have to get the minis either.
Thank you so much for joining us, Van Ryder Games. Absolutely. Like, we really appreciate you coming on here and answering questions for our audience. We always appreciate it whenever publishers show up. Have an amazing day. And I'm going to say, I'd back this. Heck yes, I would. Yeah, I'm so excited. Like, I want all of them because
I want that puppet master.
I want the mixing portion, yeah. But if I had to settle for double feature, I would, because then at least I have two to make things like change.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff
gives you
like
like
that,
four. It gives you 2 locations and then 2 different bosses. That's enough mixing. I think that you can get a lot of play out of it.
Right, I think so too, as well. Absolutely. Okay.
Which, didn't we order some graphic novels from them recently?
We did. We got the last round. We got a couple of the graphic novels from there. So.
Which I was not sold on at first until I played Crusoe Crew, and then I was like, okay, this is good. This is good.
Was so good, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Alan says Frost Hat Haven gained 150 backers, an expensive sports car since we started talking about Final Girl. Wow.
Yeah, because just the amount they've raised in the last little bit.
All right, and I want to know in the comments, guys, who is backing Final Girl? I want to know who is like, this is sold for them. Like, they're excited about playing this, okay? What else we got? Mark Edwards says, Final Girl looks great. I'm thinking about double feature for me. Absolutely.
I think you got to at least do double.
I think double feature is good because you're not really adding that much for a double feature. What, $20 or something? Yeah.
And it gives you that variability. So you can play it multiple times.
Absolutely. You can play it in different ways, and that's just going to add so much more to your gameplay, okay?
Yeah, I'm pumped. This is something that we definitely got to get in stream.
Oh, I know, right? Moving on, we have Canvas. This is by Road to Infamy. This is going to be for 1 to 5 players, and it's going to last about 30 minutes. Now, with Canvas, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be drafting little cards here, and you're going to be making little canvases of art. It's so cute. And with that, you're going to be matching sets and trying to get best in show. I think one of the most fun aspects of this game, though, is just the fact that it has like a little cutout in the back of the box. You can actually like hang it on the wall like a piece of art.
Yeah, you can hang the box on the wall.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's so on the point, Road to Infamy. Like, that was just perfect. I think, well, what are your thoughts on this game, Dr. Gloryhogg?
So I really like the style of this game, right? Like, I'm glad that this exists in the hobby world where there's a game that's like really good looking. You've got, it looks like some complexity while you're trying to maximize the ribbons that you get by kind of mixing up your picture, right?
Yes.
And kind of building it. So I like all that about it. Typically, art type games are not something that's a big sell for me. But I do like the way it looks. I think it looks really beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Like, they did an amazing job with being able to combine the art aspects on here to create a picture, and having those transparent cards was
Which you like
genius.
usually.
It was genius.
I know you've played some other games like that where you have the transparent cards and the mixing.
Now, the big thing with the transparent cards, and you see them stacked up here, that doesn't happen. Have you ever tried to stack transparent cards?
They go into a sleeve.
They have little sleeves on them? Oh, okay, that makes sense. I know, but like right here where they have them stacked on the board, like you're going to need like a thing.
You're afraid that they will just spill out?
They're just going to, they're like silk sheets, like.
Right, they just slide.
You jump on it, it's like, whoosh,
gotcha.
You go off.
That I can't say anything about that because I don't know. But I know that whenever you build your actual painting, they go into a sleeve, which I actually liked because then they're not just sliding around.
Right.
And they line up the way they're supposed to.
That's what I'm saying. That's my only nitpick is the fact that you have a stack of them there that you're going to be putting out your little drafting options for. And like if they just had like a little thing to like
well, maybe they've got
put them in, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe they've got matte backs or something like that so they don't like get that air and slide.
Because
it's a pocket of air happens and then the cards slide. It happens with anything that you sleeve too when they're new.
But I do like the fact that you are putting them in sleeves so they all stay together. And how they did the art on this to make it all
really
match
cool
up.
looking art, right?
They did such a good job, guys.
Like I would not be upset having some of these up on my wall, like some of these weird combinations they've got where I'm like, this looks really good all put together.
So Nathan says, are the sleeves included? I believe they are included. I think they're part of the game with that, okay? And Alan says, some of my favorite themes are art games. I love games like Dixit and stuff because the art is so unique and interesting to look at. And
you like Mysterium too.
This game starts at $30, and I feel like that's a really reasonably priced for an art-based game where the whole point of it is having the artist go in and make really interesting, unique pieces that flow together like this. This was a lot of work.
And I'm glad that there's actually some matching on the bottom where you're trying to actually complete goals with that, because then if you're not a person that like, I don't feel like I have an artistic eye, so I get mad at some of those games like Dixit where I enjoy it, but I'm like, how do you guys not see what I'm seeing? Or if I have to draw, I don't like those games as much sometimes because I can't draw very well. But at least with this, like there's an actual, objectively a goal I'm going towards. So I can focus on that goal and then see what pretty picture happens because of that goal. I'm not just stuck going like, I got to make the best looking picture and hope people like it. You'd win that game every single time because you just have an artistic eye of putting things together and I don't. But since there's goals, like actual goals I'm going for, I think that will actually make it so the game is more playable.
And look at these little easels, guys.
Yeah, you can get the premium wood pieces and everything. You get your inspiration tokens.
They made this art-based game and they made it like, they added the cuteness factor is what they did to it, because you have like the little wooden tokens that are the little art or the little paint palettes.
Yeah, those are your inspiration
and your
tokens.
little easels. You can put your artwork in, and
you can hang the box on the
I
wall.
know, and you're all going for best in show. Like the cuteness factor on this is insane. Like they did such a great job, and it's on Tabletop Simulator, guys. Okay, so everyone. Road to Infamy Games did an amazing job putting this together. They did a really great job. I'm excited about the art in this game. I think this particular game falls into a category that is for newer gamers coming in and light. It's a light game.
I don't think it's as light as you think it is.
Well, it's light.
Because you've got 4 different competing goals you're trying to complete all on one card. I think that makes it so it's less light than you think.
Okay.
Because it's not just, I think light games are more like a Dixit where it's all like interpretation. This one you have specific objectives. Even the 4 basic ones they used, the person who created the game when they were showing the example of how the game was played couldn't get all 4 goals at once. Like they could only get 3.
Lighter with depth. Because this is not, well,
I think you're talking more about mechanics than actual depth of gameplay.
Whenever I say light, I mean, when I teach this to somebody, I'm going to be able to teach it to a large range of people. I'm going to be able to teach it to hobby gamers. I'm going to be able to teach it to non-gamers.
So it's got an easy entry point.
It. Yeah, and it being light is not a bad thing. It's a thing that's going to cover all bases, but then you're going to have a little bit of depth to it where that set collection is going to be harder to get.
Okay.
Like,
and I think that's the difference. When you say light, I automatically assume that it's going to be like, I always assume that when you say light, it's going to be like too easy. It's not going to be something you're going to want to play because it's just like, oh, it's just kind of luck based. You just kind of play your cards and then it's just over and it's not a big deal. So when I think of light, I always think of it as like a negative.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not saying
that's why I always stop you. I'm like,
a negative. Light is good because that means you can get everybody involved.
It's easy to get to the table.
Teach this to my kid and it would be fine, you know, and they'd enjoy it. I could teach this to my grandma and they'd probably really enjoy it. I can teach this to a parent and they'd really enjoy it. I can teach it to a hobby gamer and it could become a staple in their collection because it's something they can bring to the table all the time. That's what I mean.
I think it looks really pretty. The theme doesn't get me. But it looks like a lot of our viewers are really into the theme. So that's cool. It's really well funded. Like I said, I'm glad it exists out there, that it's a game out there. I just don't think it's one that I would be excited to get to the table myself. Like, and this is kind of how I've been basing games lately, because we kind of have a wide collection of games. The games that I would be excited. So if like somebody like Alan came over to my house, right? Or if Nathan came over, I'd be like, what's the game? Kabuki Kid. Any of these Battle Cry, any of these people came over to my house, would be the first game I'd want to bring off the shelf and play because like I'm excited to show it to somebody who's never seen it before. And for me, this game isn't it. I'd be fine playing it. But I want to bring something like, you know, obviously you can't do Final Girl, but something that would be exciting to bring out to them. Like, this is Dice Throne, this is this. And they'd be like, oh, what is this?
No, see, I totally disagree with you. This is something I would absolutely bring out because
with your wines and cheese?
Exactly, with your wines and cheese. And you go, we're going to play an art game today.
That's not the kind of parties I have. When people come over to my house, we're killing aliens. There's no wine. You're drinking out of like an old bottle.
No, this is an excellent game, especially for a newer group of people coming together. That's how I feel, you know? Alan says, pack your bags, Jenny. We're headed to Arizona. Okay, so Ronnie says, I agree. I like that this game exists, but it isn't for me. Just doesn't get me excited.
I got you, Ronnie.
I totally get that. Is this going to be a game I'm going to play all the time? Probably not, because it is lighter for me, who enjoys a very long, strategic,
that's true.
struggle of a game.
You don't even like 45-minute or under games. They're starting to be a thing that you're
But
like, this is too short.
I also am not going to bring out my super rough, we're going to be in this game for 3 hours game with a normal set of gamers coming to my house. Like,
you're not going to drop down the colonists? Like, hey,
no,
let's play the colonists real quick.
That's something that we're going to plan on doing. We're like, we're only going to be playing this game all day. You have to plan that. We're only going to be playing Twilight Imperium. And if you're not playing, you're out. With this one, you're like, oh no, we're going to have like a nice game night and we're going to play several games.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I like to call this a side dish. It's like your mashed potatoes, some corn, maybe some green beans.
Absolutely.
It's not your turkey dinner.
This game starts at $28. I feel like $28
That's a really good price.
Is an excellent price for all this because those little transparent things are a pain in the butt for companies to make. All the art that they put into this game that actually matches whenever you put it together, like they just did an amazing job. I'm excited. What else did Road to Infamy make? Didn't you tell me they made something else that we had gotten in lately?
Maybe.
I'm gonna go double check. We're double checking right now.
I can't remember the stuff I say. I talk a lot. Crypt is one that they made that we've talked about before, I want to say.
I'm trying to remember. I thought we had talked about them. Maybe we're looking at After Nova, I thought. There was something that I was looking at the other day. Maybe it was a non-Kickstarter game where I was like, oh yeah, like, I remember that. All right,
Maybe.
DrGloryhogg, would you back this game?
Not for me, but I would be fine playing it.
You'd be fine playing it, but
it's
not for you.
It's not my number one of the week.
Okay. Yeah, and Nathan says, I could see this being another Wingspan. Exactly. That's the sort of thing. Like, Wingspan is a light engine building game. It's light. It's got some cool engine building mechanics to it.
I like Wingspan.
I would bring it out for anybody to learn engine building.
Despite the birds, I still like Wingspan.
Yeah. So, and it's pretty. It's pretty.
It's not bad. I play Wingspan. I'm actually more appreciative of the birds in my backyard. I'm like, oh, look, there's a bird. Normally, I'm just like, look at this crappy bird. Get out of here.
Okay, let's see here. Game looks pretty, but I don't feel I need to back. That makes sense. What are they at?
It's like 300,000.
I was gonna say, I thought they broke.
They're one of the higher ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a good job. Good job for you guys, Road to Infamy. Like I said, my only nitpick was whenever you are stacking these cards up, that's gonna be a pain in the butt.
But I don't know. Maybe there's something they've got in there for it.
Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't have the cards.
There's
in
a
hand.
solo on this too. It's 1 to 5.
Yes. Absolutely.
I didn't realize it was 1 to 5. And Rado says it is really deep. It seems like a really simple game, but that is deceptive. It's really deep. So, just saying, I mean...
Well, if Rado approves it...
He doesn't do like an approval thing, I don't think. That's Dice Tower.
Rado does some good stuff. So, moving on. Steampunk Rally Fusion! Yay!
Oh, you like this one?
DrGloryhogg, get to hype up.
This isn't it.
What?
No, I'm kidding. This is it. God, I love Roxley. You get a game company that just seems to like know you, and I feel like Roxley is definitely it. Now, it doesn't have Manny Tremblay art, so that makes me sad. But this art is still amazing because it's Cuddington, and their art is also amazing. That team does amazing work too. They did like Tidal Blades and stuff like that. So the art's really good. The theme is amazing. You're rocketing across either a different planet or your own planet, like kind of like back in time on these like jalopies. It reminds me kind of like the scenes where they put together that really crappy candy car and Wreck-It Ralph, and they're trying to like, they're all like racing, you know what I'm talking about? Wreck-It Ralph?
That's right, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it's like that, where you're putting together like this kind of like messed up car, like B.A. Baracus A-Team style. You're putting it together, and you're racing this thing, and as you're going, you're like losing parts, and you're jumping over things, and you're trying to like knock other people out. I just love the whole idea of this, and I'm not usually super big on racing games. Like, we only have a few racing games. Like, one of the racing games we have is Wasteland Express, which is a pick up and deliver game, but it's a race to get your 3 objectives first to win. So I'm not usually super huge. We don't have a lot of racing games. Like, we don't have like Flaming Rouge or anything like that. But this, with like parts getting jettisoned off, and it's got engine building, dice placement. You've got like secret objectives you're trying to flip over and build. I'm super excited about this one.
Okay. This particular game here is...
their production quality is great.
A solo... Okay, it's a solo game you can play with the previous game.
Yeah, it's a standalone.
It's a there we go. That's the word I couldn't get the word all of a sudden.
Yeah, you can mix them.
It's a standalone game that you can play with the other game. In this campaign, they're offering Fusion as well as you can go back and get Steampunk Rally as well with this. So the base price is $55. This is for 2 to 8 players. Of course, is like I said, by Roxley Games here. I wasn't sure in the beginning if I was going to like this game because there's a lot of dice rolling.
But it's dice placement.
But it is dice placement.
Which you're okay with. What is Alan asking me for? Please, please, please show me them before the end of the stream.
So Alan's talking about the iron clays.
Oh,
the iron clays.
okay.
Which we could go get.
You
So,
keep doing your thing.
I'll keep talking and you go
Nobody look at my shorts.
Don't look at the shorts, guys. Yes, the green and purple dice are pretty. Those are the fusion dice that you can... Okay. I like the aspects that they added to the fusion portion. I don't know if I would have played the original one without the fusion aspects to it. For me, okay? You have fusion dice, which are going to overpower parts, or they're going to power parts, and then you can't take them off, which is kind of interesting. So you get the boost of where you can use them, but then they stay there, so they kind of block that spot with that. You are using dice placement in your parts, and you're using like little cogs to go ahead and make things work. There's a lot more than just a racing game aspect to this, and that I really, really like, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
The secret thing you're trying to do, your secret machine, that is amazing.
Oh yeah, and that's a new aspect that they
Yeah.
added to the fusion portion of it, where you're actually also have this secret thing that you're trying to do that you can use against other people as you're going through the game.
And I like
So-
that those dice too, like those fusion dice, are like 4 through 9,
Yes.
so they're higher numbers,
They're
right?
going to be boosting you with
But
that.
then, like, it also, I think once you use those, it stays in that
yes.
spot. And
I was
then,
just talking about
okay.
that. Absolutely. We were talking about
yeah, Gavin,
some of this stuff.
yeah, Gavin, the whole team at Roxley, everyone I've met at Roxley's been super great. I don't know if I've met Gavin personally. No, I think I've met Gavin once. And everyone that I've met there has always been great. Their community is great. Like, their Dice Throne community is great. All very super, super nice. And the game company just gets me in the right spot. You know, they just seem like everything they put out, I'm like really interested in. And I missed this game because I didn't.
They get you in the gamer heart.
They do. Because,
Right,
like,
the gamer heart. Ugh.
I didn't know anything about Roxley until, like, kind of like in that middle of Dice Throne Season 1, Season 2 is when I was first introduced to it. They were already coming out with Season 2 stuff when I first got Dice Throne. And I've looked at a lot of their stuff since then, and man, I am always amazed.
So you're going to be building your actual machine that you're riding on throughout the game. I really like that aspect. So things can change with what you're doing as you're going along that race, or along that racetrack.
These heavy iron clays.
We'll look at the iron clays in a minute.
So pretty. Wish we could do a close-up.
We will. I'll change cameras and we'll look at them, okay? Like I said before, I don't know if I would have played the original because I like the extra stuff added so much, because that just ups the game factor for me. Like, I want more. I want more than just a racing game.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I like the fact that you're
So-
jettisoning things and you're doing, like, you have, like, last chance hope things by doing your secret weapon and, like, rocketing ahead.
And
And
you're still trying to damage other racers
Yeah.
and go through and, like, make other people not win, okay? Yeah, I'm excited about this game. I think DrGloryhogg, though, you were ultra excited.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, it just seems to work for me. Like, these little metal gears, I'm all in on this one. Like I said, I've never played the first one, but this just looks like so much fun. It just seems like it's going to be fun, like rocketing around, blowing up stuff, having stuff not work at the right time. It's the whole idea of, like, goblin engineering, right? Where you're like, you come up with these amazing things that work 60% of the time. And when they work, they're amazing. And when they don't work, you're just kind of like, oh, goblins are going to do what goblins are going to do.
So-
And you just kind of roll with it.
Kabuki Kid says, steampunk is a theme I actively dislike for some reason. But you're an
What?
inventor, Kabuki.
Yeah, I always
You're-
like the idea of a wacky inventor with, like, steam blowing off of stuff.
Yeah,
And
you're an engineer. You're not just like a regular steampunk person. I don't know what you would call that. What do you call a regular?
steampunker.
A steampunker. You're a steampunk engineer, okay?
Yeah. I'm all about mad scientists. Obviously, I married a mad scientist. We actually have to keep her away from the household chemicals just in case.
Wow, wow. I think that the gear portion, I'm not for sure if they are metal or not, but I
They
do
are.
think
They have
they're
a
actual
upgrade.
metal pieces.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were metal or they were plastic pieces.
I'm like
but
90% sure that they said that there's a metal one. I don't know if it's an upgrade, like a deluxe version or
I'm
something.
gonna have
but
to look. I'm gonna have to double check with that.
I
But
don't know,
I
I'm
do know
super
that they
excited
were
about it.
actual like little tokens on it and everything. Oh, and the events is the other thing that they added as far as a new mechanic. I almost forgot to talk about that. So like an
Yeah.
overall event whenever you have your turn, which is always interesting.
So if you're the first one there, you get to kind of do the event, And it's usually going to be kind of good, right? But then everybody else coming up behind you that's behind kind of knows what it is, so they can like better prepare
They can
for it.
mitigate for
Right. So
for
like
it.
that might actually help them get through it easier. Yeah, I don't know. This just seems like so much fun. It's kind of like the same idea of Victorian Masterminds, where it's just like kind of like a wacky, fun game where you're just in it to have a good time. I don't know how you have a bad time playing this game.
Nathan says that's the perfect description of goblin tinkerers. Okay, and
Yeah.
Ronnie says some of my friends own the original. They say it's blatantly unfair, but a buttload
Exactly.
of fun. Yes, okay.
It's got to be super unfair for it to be fun, like the game Unfair.
And I think that what they did in this one though is they went back and they revamped things to make things a little bit more fair from the mechanics that they've put into this, because you do have that one portion that slows people down if they're the first person getting to these events, right?
Right.
You have fusion dice that can pump things up exponentially.
It adds, which added extra
like a
risk.
one-time use. It adds a little bit of extra risk.
Yeah.
But also, if you're behind, like, why not be riskier, right?
Right. No, definitely.
So I feel like they kind of built into this. They made the game better. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't play it without it at this point, because why wouldn't you? You have all these extra mechanics to add to it that are going to be fantastic, right? So I think, and Roxley is all about upgrading their stuff. If you went from Dice Throne Season 1 to Dice Throne Season 2, like vastly different with what they did, but everything they upgraded in that game is amazing. Like they made everything so much more fantastic that we ended up purchasing the revamped. Yeah, the revamped Season 1.
It's called Rerolled Season 1. Rerolled.
Right, because of everything that they continued to make better. So I like the fact that they are not just leaving it the way it is.
Yeah, even brass. Brass is upgraded, which is where we got the iron clays from originally.
Making it better as they go along, okay? So Ronnie says, I agree. Seems like they really polished the mechanics overall. Absolutely. And I am sure it is going to be a buttload of fun, as our viewers put it.
Yeah, I just want a ridiculous game of just having a good time, where you're just, you still want to win, of course, but like if something happens and your confabulator blows up or your flux complacinator like doesn't work correctly, you're just like, hey, flux happens.
And you are able to go ahead and get both, where you can get the combined two in this Kickstarter.
Because you can mix and match like the drivers and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know in the comments if you guys are backing this project. This was DrGloryhogg's #1.
Yeah, I'm just all in on it.
#1.
Yeah, it just looks like so much freaking fun.
So excited this week. And your #2 was Final Girl?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we'll look at the iron clays at the end.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you got to deal with Alan, not me, so.
We'll take a look at the iron clays that just came in here at the end, because I want to make sure our viewers get a chance to look at it. And we finish up our Kickstarters for those people that are here for that, okay?
People that are here for the Kickstarters, they're just here to see my iron clays.
Ellen says, I caved to the peer pressure, but I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's right. Did I tell you we were more on if you didn't back it? I might have.
As a European backer, I'm really happy that they dropped the VAT cost.
Yeah, the VAT.
With the shipping, and the game was over 100. Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, that's really good to know, Ronnie. Like, I always appreciate it whenever publishers are looking out for sending out to different parts of the world with that, because I know.
Oh, it's a pain.
Ordering stuff from like Germany and stuff like that, I always hate seeing, or like the UK, it's like, and that'll be an extra $40. And I'm like, thanks, the game is $20. I can't do that. Like, and especially right now, while you're unable to go and get these sort of games at conventions and stuff, like, I'm really happy to hear that they did that. I didn't know that. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of the Kickstarter companies really try hard to find not only good shipping, but then they subsidize it too, where some of it is actually just coming out of their profit in order to get you the game at a reasonable price. Because sometimes shipping can kill you. That is one reason why I've stayed away from trying to do a Kickstarter of my own where you guys could help fund me.
Go fund DrGloryhogg.
It's shipping, man. Whew, shipping is tough. You can fund my next haircut.
Those dice are fantastic looking.
Yeah.
My God, I love the dice so much. So beautiful. All right. I'm going to say I'd back this game, guys.
Good.
Yeah.
50 metal cogs.
I'm super excited about it.
That might be the deluxe one, though.
Well, okay,
Atomic
let's
Deluxe.
go up really quick. No, the base on here, which is the 56 US, and you get 50 metal cogs, sleeving capable, and a compatible vac tray.
Yeah, that vac tray is really good, too.
Okay, so they are metal. I wasn't for sure if they were plastic or metal, but I knew that they were 3D. But that's really nice.
Yeah, and I'm all in on that one.
That's a fantastic price. $55 for all that stuff because you're getting all those dice in there that are gorgeous little like Jolly Rancher gems that you should.
Yeah, it is, John. This is my number one. It's my number one.
And then all those metal cogs. Like that's a good price, guys. Oh my gosh. All right. Next up, we have Mini Express. I was thinking of the other one for a second. This is by Moaideas Game Design. This is for 3 to 5 players. It is going to last about 40 to 60 minutes. You are going to be playing. It's being promoted as an 18xx game light. So.
Or quick.
Yeah, quick.
An express, because it's not supposed to be lighter than it necessarily, just more of an a condensed version of it, if you will.
A smaller version of it. You're going to be having marketing in this campaign where you're going to be trying to go through and move your little marketing pieces here and get the best price and the best value out of things. You're going to be building little trains throughout the continental U.S. here. And it reminds me a lot of, what is it, Ride the Rails? No, Irish Gauge. Gauge.
Which we really enjoyed Irish Gauge.
Which I did really enjoy Irish Gauge. Except they do the marketing portion of this completely different in this.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Bill says, I'm backing the new stuff. I have the original on that Fusion. Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
Steampunk Rally.
What I like, this also has a co-promotion with Mini Rails, which I played a few months ago, but was sad to see out of print. Oh.
So that's a big thing. They said in their video that they typically sell mostly at conventions.
Yes.
And it's kind of hard to get their products any other way. So that's why they brought this one to Kickstarter this time, so that people that don't have it can get access to it, because usually their stuff is just at conventions.
That's right. Now, I like train games, guys.
You do.
I didn't think I was going to be like a train game person, but I am.
You like anything that's got complication.
I love the route building so much in train games. It's so satisfying.
Play with some Legos or something. Jeez.
It's so satisfying building routes in train games, and then having the marketing portion on this. The only issue that I see with this particular game is if you're teaching this to a non-gamer, the marketing portion of it is probably going to be harder to explain.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because of that marketing board there, the way that you have to take this number times that number on the board, and then first player is going to get this one. Like, it becomes...
If you're playing with somebody that can't do their basic multiplication table, that's on you. I'm just saying. Yikes.
I'm saying for newer gamers, that's going to be harder for them coming into it, because that, as a whole, can become a confusing thing when you're having to reference like 3 different columns to go through to get the calculation of what you're getting for something. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm trying to think of who like would just casually come over there. You're like, you want to play a train game? Like, I think that's not something you do. I think I think more for somebody who's never really played a train game but has played other hobby games. And then you're like, hey, do you want to play a faster version of a train game? Because this would be great for someone like me, who definitely, when I see most train games with like, their paper maps and their little bits, I'm just kind of like, I'm out. This at least is tempting, and if you tell me it's less than an hour, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll try it. I'll try almost any game that's less than an hour over like this one that you're going to tell me it's going to be a 4-hour game. I'm just not down with that one. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. That's how you got me with Irish Gauge, is that it was shorter.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like with Irish Gauge, you get the satisfaction of building all your routes and everything, but it's a short and sweet game.
Yeah.
I love all of that. I think that between the two, that the points and marketing is a little bit easier in Irish Gauge versus this one. But with this one, you have a little bit more going on with it, because you're also having to deal with all the commodities and stuff on the board and trying to get those to build things. And then you also have like the portion of the trains that come out, but you don't want the trains to come out too fast, because like it could penalize you with like taking your market prices down. Like there's a lot more of like push and pull in this particular game.
All right.
And that's why it gets that 18xx sort of style rating to it.
So for me, what it's got going for is that I can play a train game in a shorter amount of time, which I'm more willing to do. But train games don't necessarily sell me like they do some people. The things that I dislike about it is that it's 3-player or above.
Yes.
So you got to have at least 3 players. And the thing I liked about Irish Gauge and the estates and those types of games is the auction.
Yes.
So not everybody likes auctioning. I do. I like auctioning. I like Raccoon Tycoon. I like actually auctioning off stocks and being like 14,
I don't
15,
like the auctioning.
16, 18. Yeah, and I knew that. So it's going to really depend. If you like the auctioning, I think Irish Gauge might be a better fit. If you like just kind of like buying out the stocks
Buying
yourself.
and building.
Buying and building, this one might be more for you. Because I feel like this was more like a heads down kind of playing your own game.
Yeah.
Where something like Irish Gauge, that interaction of like messing with people and trying to like pump the stock up and then dump it and all that kind of stuff, like that's the part that's exciting for me, is that interaction.
Well, and
so I'm less likely to play this one.
That's my whole thing with this. Is
But
if
our
you are the
engineer
type
buddy,
of, right,
same
exactly.
thing.
If you're the type of gamer that loves all those little tiny things that you're trying to organize and make happen in order to make this happen, to make that happen, then this is your light train game here, okay? But if you're more into the auctioning portion and the social aspects of everything, you're still going to get a little bit of that network building and everything with something like Irish Gauge, but that one's a little bit like new user friendly, like new gamer friendly. Does that make sense?
It's called fun.
Whatever.
That was just a little bit fun.
This one is just as fun,
Plus
okay?
it's Ireland, so
This
I
is
mean,
my-
bonus points for that.
This is my number one for the week, guys,
so pretty
okay?
and green. This is your number one for the week?
This is my number one for the
Okay.
week. I'm really excited for this
I mean, I'm not
because
surprised. And I've had people that typically are more Euro gamer people that have said that they like this one over Irish Gauge. But then people like Greg and I have been more pro the like Raccoon Tycoon and all
Yeah,
those in
exactly,
Irish Gauge. So
exactly.
I think it's just if you like auctions or not. If you don't like auctions, I think this is a really good route to
It would
go
be a
for an
good
intro train game.
substitute. If you're
Yeah.
interested in Irish Gauge, but you don't like the auctions, like why not try this one?
This is a good
Right,
substitute, and
right.
vice versa. If you know you like auctions more than just kind of playing your own game, then I think the Irish Gauge would be a better fit for you. I think you just have to know how you feel about auctions.
Absolutely. So Alan says, hey, I'll do Irish Gauge online with you. I can play with my set. That would be fantastic. And I
might be a
stink
good
at
idea.
auctions. No, we don't want Dr. Gloryhogg to roll us all over with his auction nonsense, okay?
That was, what did I get called? Dr. Disrespect when we played Irish
That's
Gauge
right.
live? Someone was like, Dr. Disrespect, because I'm like, you can have it. I didn't want that stock.
That's right. You were
You
being
can have
so
it.
mean.
I don't even want it, because I'll pump that stock and dump it. I'll pump it, dump.
Nathan says, oh, nice, a train game. And Alan says, I like the train games. We also have John C. that says, I play mostly solo and 2-player games, so this one
Yeah.
is a pass, but I love
Makes it
the
tougher
sound
in
of
this
it.
environment, right? 3-player. Not
Mhm.
everybody's got a third player that's going to play a train game with them in-house at all times.
Absolutely.
So I get that. I definitely lean more towards being able to play something at least 2-player as the minimum play count.
So Ronnie says, I'm surprised. I thought Gloryhound would be more about the area control
She loves
rather
those too.
than the Euro games. I do. I love area control. Like building, I am a master route builder at train games. Train games, I am so good at building some routes. And the whole thing with like the auction portion of it is if somebody steals all my like all the what is it, the little stocks for there, I just get super angry because I built those as winners, guys. And that was my hard work, okay?
Oh, they are saying that they've unlocked the 2-player and solo rules, so that might be worth looking into if that was your main reason for not wanting to get this game.
That's fantastic. Okay, so did Rado preview this one also?
I'm not sure.
I don't think he did. I would have to go look. I know that Game Boy Geek did. He did a
Yes.
little thing on it as well. 'Cause
And Dan is more Game Boy Geek is more like you.
he does very precise stuff.
Right. He
Yeah.
liked this more than the auctioning,
He
the
did.
badness of auctioning.
He did as well, yeah. So, like I said, this scoring is the only thing that I think is unfriendly to newer gamers because of this particular scoring person here or thing here where you have
Listen.
to have the stock. Plus, then you have to figure out what place you're in for the thing, and then you have to go ahead and go over and then look at whatever rank the train is on here, and it becomes a lot of steps, so that's going to be a little confusing for newer gamers. You could always walk them through it, but they might not catch on to what's going on throughout the game. But an 18xx light game, like I'm down for this. This is my
Listen,
number one.
Sheila, you can't have everything you want, all right? It can't be an
Listen.
18x game in less than an hour and have the super easy scoring.
Listen, all I want is
You
all
want
the
it to be
things.
complex, but you also
All
want
the
it to be easy for new people. It just can't be both.
Just give me all the things. I don't think that's so hard to do.
To make it super complex with a lot of depth and also easy for people to learn,
No,
I would
this is-
disagree. Those usually don't go hand in hand.
This is fantastic. Fantastic. I'm excited to see how well Moaideas does with this Kickstarter and everything. And it is on Tabletopia, which
Oh,
is nice
nice.
as well. So you can go and try it out. Super exciting. And then if you need to, you can pick up mini rails as well, as Alan was talking about. Okay. So let's see here. Thanks, Mark. Didn't know on that. Yes, Mark talking about the 2-player and solo rules. We appreciate that, Mark. We really-
Alan's all excited. He's like, oh, I'm going to back it right now. Oh, wait, I already did. Good call, Alan. Good call. Alan is one of those people that like probably needs like a person to like manage their Kickstarter pledges for them. like fill out the surveys, let them know about updates, like in a digestible email, like, hey, you received 32 updates today. Here's the important ones.
That happens. Okay, if you back a lot of Kickstarters, you may as well just get a Kickstarter mailbox for all those updates to go into, because the amount of updates that I get, I mean,
Pretty crazy.
is insane. It's like, I can't read all those updates.
There is
can't
definitely an advantage to just being like, yeah, we should back that, and then just like having it show up in the mail. Because I never know what's coming or when, or if we actually backed it or not. Only she does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't really look at that account very often. I'm just like, do whatever.
All right, guys. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're going to take a look at the iron clays that just came in, okay? From Roxley.
Like, we're going to take some nice pictures or something. When I say we, I mean her. You going to try to flip down to this table?
No, I don't have the other camera plugged in because, you know, I wasn't prepared for this, guys. But
so if you've ever played Brass, Birmingham, or Lanchester,
right,
or Lancaster,
Landshire,
careful, it is heavy. So we got the nicer box for it, right? Because I wanted to get back these really badly, and then she upped the pledge without me knowing about it. It's kind of like a Father's Day gift.
Birthday present. I thought it was birthday.
Well,
it was a present.
They're within 2 weeks of each other. Father's Day and my birthday, they're like really close to each other.
You got to spoil the DrGloryhogg, okay?
Sometimes.
You got to.
So I'm really excited because the next time we play something like Irish Gauge or basically anything with cash, I'm super excited to use these nice iron clays. And I got the nice set, the one that came with everything that goes like from all the way from like 1 to, are they like hundreds in here, I think? I don't even know. There's hundreds in there. I think it might have some 500s.
Does the whole tray come out?
It slides out decently, but not all the way out, I don't believe. And it's heavy. You gotta be careful. Oh, it came out.
There we go.
No, 500s. So it goes from 1 to 500. So fancy. And they did a good job, too, with the distribution. And I was super excited that they added the 50s, which are something that people were asking for, and they actually added the 50s during this Kickstarter. So
John says, I love the updates. Those are the best emails that I get here.
It's better than the junk mail, right?
Alan is closing the chat and expanding that sweet window for these.
Yeah, it's super nice. And then even like the really nice iron spades, if you go back and look at their campaign, Kevin Delp did some magic stuff for him, like where he did like some close-up magic stuff and everything. And it's amazing. Like these iron spades are really pretty. Like I don't even want to open the boxes. Like I kind of just want to I have one still sealed and I'm going to open one. Super shiny.
Yeah, like what did they line them with? It feels amazing. It feels and looks amazing, like super high quality on here. It reminds me of like an old sort of style, so like cigar box, like the really, really fancy ones.
It's swanky.
With that swanky wood, like dark wood here, and then like the gold lettering on here. So nice. It's so nice, and this thing is heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. When I got the box, I was
heavy.
like, ooh, and even just pulling out the drawer, you got to be careful because it is heavy.
But
slide them out.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, as far as opening and closing these drawers, like, do you want to open for me?
Yeah, good luck.
Open.
It's got to be shut on the ground.
It's got to be shut on the ground? Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
Because it's heavy.
Open.
There you go.
Here we go. But, like, when you get them open, they're nice and smooth. Like,
yeah, no, it's very smooth. The top is fine.
They, like, lock,
it's just the overall weight. The weight of this
The weight
heavy.
on that bottom one?
Yeah, so the only thing I worry about is I worry about these plugs coming off at some point in time, but I don't think they will.
Well,
because it is heavy.
I like the fact though that the drawers kind of lock, because I feel like if like you're gonna be able to like tip it hopefully, and like it's not gonna fall out. Like I'm not actually that one finally fell.
Yeah, but I mean, please don't do that with your stuff. Actually, let me just take this back. I don't.
Wow, DrGloryhogg.
But it's a nice centerpiece. Like you can put this out on the table. You can play with all your different games. I'm a big fan of it. I really enjoy it, which is just another Roxley product that I enjoy. I can't wait till Dice Throne Adventures plus the rerolled season 1 comes out, and I have those 3 big boxes next to each other. It's going to be so pretty.
Ronnie says, I pledged the 400 chip wooden box as well, but mine hasn't arrived yet. You'll get yours soon. I think they're like quite a ways through delivering. They're doing a really good job of getting those out to people here. Well, it's like once they hit the docks, they were like ready and started sending them out.
Yeah.
So Nathan says, looks like a great replacement for that Monopoly money. That's right. And
so much
easier to hide money with those little tiny chips like that.
If you're somebody like me that's kind of like a person that always has to be doing something, just having those little chips and being like, just being able to drop them and shuffle them. I'm just so excited to get to mess around with chips while we're playing games.
Nathan says, looks like a great replacement for Monopoly. Oh, yeah. Okay, I already said that one. And then Alan says, Gloryhoundd gets Fun Again shipments so much earlier than me, but I get the QML shipments in like 2 days. It's probably got to be in relation to where like everybody lives and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what
Hey,
the
Nathan
difference
says
would be.
it looks like a great replacement for Monopoly
Oh
money.
my gosh, Nathan, thank you for that comment.
Hey, I would say it. I would be interested in seeing a super fancy deluxe upgraded Monopoly. I mean, I know the game.
They did that. I remember because I was like, at the time I was a kid and I was like, ooh, that looks nice.
It would be interesting to see. I don't know if it's something I'd want to own, but it would be interesting to see. Yeah, Dice Throne Adventures is going to happen.
So nice. Yeah, absolutely. I totally play Dice Throne Adventures with you. We should do that whenever it comes in. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, because
right?
we just playing the prototype. The prototype was good enough that I was like, I don't want to get rid of this.
Yeah, Johnny says this box is hands down the best quality in board game related items that I have ever seen. 100%.
Oh,
It's swanky AF, guys.
It's fancy.
Okay, it is.
I feel like a fancy boy over here.
So swanky. All right, it was worth the money that we spent on it because we're going to be using it for everything basically. All the games. There's something about having clays on a board whenever you're dealing with money that's fantastic.
So you'll probably be seeing them hopefully in some streams.
Yeah,
she usually shuts me down and doesn't let me use our upgraded pieces for stuff, but I'm like, there's only a few upgrades we have, and I'm really excited about these.
Usually, whenever we are doing streams, I always want to show off all of the game components that come with it. However, now that we do have the iron clays, we may add them to some games. Okay? Because they're just too good not to.
So Ronnie is saying that Ankh now has like 3 gameplay expansions that cost buco money.
Yeah. I think we're still going to be doing the base on that because.
You think so?
Yeah. We pledged for the base on Ankh because I'm excited about playing it, and I've heard lots and lots of good stuff for it. So we're down for the base, but I'm not going to put a ton of extra stuff into a come on game at this point, just because we have so many other things that we end up backing.
Yeah.
And if I could put all of it into it, I totally would. But
it gets tough. So what we've been talking about more and more, because we're playing games like 2 or 3 times a week now, even just with everybody else, right?
Just with you guys, like not even counting the other games that we normally play.
So that's good, right? We really enjoy that, but there does become a point of diminishing returns when your collection gets big enough that you're just like, I never get to fully go through the game as much as I need to justify having like a whole nother double the game box size expansion, right?
Well,
and for some, it makes sense. Reichbusters makes sense. I feel like because we'll play through all those campaigns.
Another big thing,
not a problem. But some of these other ones, you just never play them enough that you're like, I need to have every possible version of God in Ankh.
There's another thing with that is the fact that we're also reviewers or we're also content creators with that, and so the amount of games that we have coming in is not
higher than normal.
Right, is not always. Like another person's going to get in a game like Batman or something like that they pledged. That's their one game and they pledged an all in. And they're going to be playing it for the next 6 months because that was their big game.
Yeah, I think we really struggle playing a game more than like 5 times before we are already on to something else.
We have to go through so many of them is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. We don't have the luxury of spending extra time.
Well, it's not a bad thing, but yeah, we do get more games in than most people do, and that's fine. It just is what it is. You just have to kind of know where you're at. If you are a person that's already played through all of Gloomhaven, I say go all in on Frosthaven because if you've already done that, why not? If you're a person that's only played the first campaign like 3 times with 3 different groups, then maybe not.
We have Nathan saying, I really wanted Dice Throne Adventures. No money when it was running. I would have loved those painted minis. Yeah, I think we ended up only doing, I don't think we got the painted minis either because it was just, it gets to be a lot. It's a lot of Kickstarters to back, guys.
I think one thing too, the reason why I said I wouldn't back it is because Come has a tendency to put in so many exclusives that if you don't go all in, you feel like you're really missing out a lot. I feel like with Ankh, they haven't quite done that. I don't feel like I'm missing out completely if I don't get every expansion. But stuff like Marvel United, definitely. Because there was certain heroes like Drax or Ghost Rider that if you didn't get the full thing, you just weren't going to get them. And so for games like that, we had specific miniatures that I really, really identified with or really wanted that weren't available unless you went all in. Those are ones I'm just like, I'm either all in or I don't back. But with this one, I think I'll be okay just getting the base game of Ankh with whatever Kickstarter exclusives it comes with and still enjoy it.
Nathan said, yeah, I guess it's tough to guess what your taste will be like in 2022 or your free time or anything. That's also a thing as well. Like, you got to get something that you think you're going to go ahead and enjoy playing when that comes up, you know? Ooh, 1,000 backers and $150,000 on Frosthaven since the start of the stream. Up to 12.8 million, 55 minutes to go. They're getting that ending push with all those people going, oh yeah, I better back this. I better take my dollar backer off and actually back this, right?
I'm a big completionist. I'm getting to the point where like if I feel like I'm not going to actually be able to complete the game or play it a bazillion times, to kind of back off. I've even started doing that with video games because like I usually get like the gold edition with all this extra stuff, and sometimes I'm just like I kind of get worn out, not worn out of the game, but I kind of have to move on to something else before I can actually really like just go through everything. So like Skyrim, I played through Skyrim a long time ago. We got it again. I played through 3 different characters up to like level 50 or so. And I was just like, and I never beat the game because I just end up doing all this other stuff. And then I put it down and I moved on to another game.
Well, and it actually becomes almost like a very sad thing because there's games that we end up going back to. Like we went back to Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea the other day.
Yeah.
And we have all this content for it. And I was like, dang it. It's a shame that we haven't been able to play this more.
Yeah.
And I wish we could play it more. But at this point, it's like, we can only make so much time for so many games, and that at this time is not at the top of our list. You know, we got to play it again. I was excited to play it, but it's getting pushed down again already because there's other things that we have to end up playing. We got another big box game in the other day from Dan King, and it's like we need to go through that one because that one's like a story-based game set in space, and I'm like, I want to play that game so bad.
The reality is people get frustrated with reviewers because they're always talking about the hype, right?
Yeah.
And we're not even really technically reviewers, right? Because we do playthroughs. We
Yeah.
don't typically actually give a bunch of opinion, except for on this show. But you always have to be going with the new stuff. Otherwise, you just get left behind. And people want to hear about the new stuff. People don't necessarily want to hear about my thoughts on the collector's edition of Suburbia.
They already have it, or they don't at that point.
Or like me talking about Scythe, right? Like you either probably have played it by now, or you're just not going to.
You can always talk about Scythe.
So you kind of have to keep up with stuff. So a lot of times, like some of my favorite games, I haven't even played in the last year. They're there. They've got a designated spot on my shelf. I'm never going to get rid of them. But as long as games keep coming in, we're always just going to be cycling in the new games.
So Nathan says, I wish I could have gone all in on Marvel United, or maybe not. It's hard to tell. Mark says, I don't really like long video games like Skyrim. I can't play them enough to enjoy them. And I like Isaac's going to be fulfilling Frosthaven until he's 108 years old.
That's probably true.
The thing I'm most excited about for the Frosthaven campaign doing so well is the fact that they're going to make like, say, $13 million on this campaign. And I want the Gloomhaven on Steam, I want that to go past beta, and I want to play with other players. And I hope that X amount of $1 million can go to that. And I can get a full setup of Gloomhaven on Steam so I can play with other people. So I'm excited to actually see what they do with all that money and where they go from here with that. Because
it opens up new doors, like animated series or
animated
other
series,
things.
You know, like other games, like doing app-based games on some of their stuff. Like, are they going to have like a spin-off on an app-based game where, you know how some companies, like, you know, they did Animal Crossing and then they have like Animal Crossing Pocket or whatever. Or they have
like a mobile version or something?
Right, a mobile version of something where you get like this tiny little aspect or tiny little world that happens outside the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of possibilities you can have with $13 million, and Isaac is an amazing person. So I'm excited to see where that goes with everything.
Fair.
I'm excited.
Yes, Alan, it is an LED ring light. And I just don't have super cool, non-reflective glasses.
So my eyes look amazing.
So fancy. But I'm blind. I have a pretty bad astigmatism, so I have to wear my glasses.
All right.
They don't make contracts this strong, baby. Too powerful.
Thank you for everyone who joined us today. The conversation is amazing. Let us know in the comments what board game you are going to be backing this week. Dr. Gloryhogg's #1 was Steampunk Rally Fusion.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is Mini Express, but I think we're also going to do Final Girl because I'm 100% down for Final Girl. It's a great price, and I'm excited about it. Like, yeah, all the Kickstarters were really great this week. And we will continue our show next week as long as we have a lot of super great Kickstarters coming in. Otherwise, we will go ahead and play another game for you as we have been rotating since we have been on quarantine. We also have...
The Goblin King is angry this Sunday.
That's right. The Goblin King is angry with the upgraded meeples. We have little goblin meeples. Geeples? Greeples. Sure. Gleebles? Nathan says canvas, probably all, but canvas.
Yeah, I could see going all in on this week,
Ellen
but it's
says
a lot.
Mini Express, I'm excited for, but Steampunk Rally now. Kabuki
Yeah.
Kid says Final Girl is my pick. That's what I'm talking about, Kabuki Kid, right?
Who doesn't want to be the final girl?
Absolutely. Thank you. And me gobs. And thank you. Thank you to everybody who joined us, okay? We hope to see you guys back later this week, okay? Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.